Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today I am yet again answering your comments, your questions in the comments. So let's get straight into it. As you guys can see, I have on the screen all your comments, all your questions pulled up here. Let's get into the very first one. I'm not gonna try to pronounce the name. I'll just read the comments and we'll try to answer them as best as I can. Okay, comment number one. I don't think the officer will allow me to put a paper of my story time list on the table during interview. And that's on my asylum interview tips video. Now, the reason why this comment was posted is because in this video I actually mentioned that it's a very, very good idea. It's very helpful to have a chronological list of all, not necessarily very detailed stuff, but something very basic, all right? Because, you know, whenever we go through our asylum interviews, it takes time. It takes time before you go to the interview, and of course, from everything that happened that you're describing in your asylum story, right? So obviously some time has passed, events, it's hard to remember all that stuff. So when you have all of that in chronological order, it makes it much easier for you to keep your story going in the right order and not mess anything up. It makes it easier for the officer. Now, I know for a fact that that used to be the case. It was completely fine to have you're gonna have the paper folder in front of you regardless, because you have to bring all of the originals that you have submitted for your asylum as part of your asylum application in the package. You have to bring all of those originals to the asylum interview. Now, some of the obviously documents you might not have originals, you're bringing the copies, but nevertheless, you're bringing the hard copy of everything that you have submitted as your application, in your application package to the interview. So you're gonna have all of this stuff in front of you regardless. So obviously, if you have your statement and a brief chronological order layout of your story, it is very helpful to go through. It's fine to have it. And in fact, you can have 2 copies and just give one of the copies to the officer. That used to be the case for the longest time. Again, everything I'm giving in these videos, you have to verify it, and it might be changed, you know, because, you know, USCIS, they come up with new rules often, all right? Things change. But from my experience, that was completely fine. You should not worry about it. And even if you are not able to use it during the interview, that's fine. Still, make the chronological list. While making it, it will be easier. You will have that mental map, you know, to go your story, to kind of put your story under. Okay, hopefully that helps. Let's move on to the next comment. So, my father received travel authorization paper. Congratulations. But we realized that one letter on last name on the paper is different from what it is in his passport. That's common. It happens all the time. These mistakes, they happen all the time. We tried contacting USCIS, but no answer. Any advice on what to do in this case? So the question is, the travel authorization is for, you know, the video that this was, the comment was posted is the Uniting for Ukraine. That's the program that USCIS currently have active for Ukrainian citizens. So if you are from Ukraine, if you're a Ukrainian citizen, that video might be very, very helpful. So that comment is on that video. So obviously the travel authorization papers is for the person in Ukraine. Okay, so if you are not able to reach out to USCIS, and I know it sometimes it can be aggravating. Sometimes it's really hard to to do that. It really depends. I've seen people, they got the mistake, they didn't have time to change it, so they just went through the process with that mistake in the document. If it's just one letter and it doesn't really change the name that much, it doesn't make really a huge difference. You know, people in the airport, people in the embassy, immigration officers, they understand that sometimes mistakes happen because the names are obviously completely different from what, from American names. Okay, so when you're dealing with foreign names, these little mistakes are common. You miss a letter, you add extra letter, you, instead of A, you put O, or something like that, right? It happens. If you can correct the mistake, try to, but if you can't, like in this case, just go through the process, bring corroborating documents that show the real name, and if you can change that name in the process of going through your immigration process, in this case, going through, all the, flying out, flying into the country, great. If not, again, you should be fine, because there's plenty of other information out there that verifies the identity of the person, like the date of birth, some kind of other, passport numbers, all of that sort of stuff, which were obviously provided. So if you can change it, do it. If you can't, just go through it, and it should not be a big deal, because it's really just one letter in the name, and you have plenty of other documents to show that this is the real person, not some random person. Okay, moving on to the next one. Hi, I'm from Nepal and would like to apply employment based with green card, EB3 visa, but I'm confused which to choose. Once recommended to BDV solution, but it costs higher than expected. Can you suggest trusted best immigration lawyer? Okay, that's a very, very, very broad question. So I really don't have any recommendations for attorneys here. I myself am not an attorney, and I would never recommend any specific attorney. Now, this video I made 7 tips on how to choose the best attorney for yourself, but not any kind of like a recommendation, like, oh, call this guy, call that guy, or something like that. And I would never do that, because on this channel I don't advertise anybody. I didn't create this channel to advertise anybody or to market anything. So yes, I want this information to be as trustworthy as possible. Now, whenever it comes to your question regarding the visa, whenever it comes to the employment visa, you really have to look, it's not as much of you're looking in the process of getting the employment visa as getting the actual employment. Whenever it comes to employment visas, the important part is getting the employment, because it is your employer that sponsors your visa. So it is your employer that applies for all these visas, through going through all this process. For you, it's just you're just going to the embassy and you're getting the visa that was already sponsored by your employer. So that's the important part, finding the employment. Don't worry about the visa. Find the employer that is willing to sponsor your visa. That's the important part. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Let's move on to the next one. Hello, is there any way that you can help me personally? I'm trying to help my husband, but I don't understand a lot of this. This is new to me. And this is how to apply for a work permit in USA. So that's for the EAD, Employment Authorization Document Application. Marian, I'm not an attorney. This is not a legal advice. I don't do any personal consultations. All of the information that I'm giving in this video is from USCIS official U.S. immigration website. All the information can be found here. Now, you can ask me what kind of questions you have in the comments, and I will do videos like this and try to answer them to the best of my abilities, again relying on the official sources. But I don't provide any kind of personalized advice, any kind of consultation, because I'm not an immigration attorney, and I'll never advertise myself as such. Okay, this is free information. This is not a legal advice. So if you have a question, just ask them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer that if I can. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Icefang Dark, from Icefang Dark. Do I need to put not applicable to the alien registration number space if I don't have one? And that is on K1 visa application form. Okay, so great question. I'm grateful you brought that up, because not applicable, yes, it's very important. If you're filling out paper application, it's very important to not leave blank spaces in the paper application. Very important. I cannot tell you enough how many times I've seen paper applications being returned to the applicants just because they left blank spaces. And literally the response from USCIS is, fill out the blank spaces with not applicable or none. Okay, so if you don't have it, if it's a paper application, if it's electronic online form, forget about it. It doesn't matter. But if it's a paper application and if you don't have something, if it's not applicable, put it there, not applicable. All right, very, very important. Okay, moving on to the next one. I'm gonna scroll my page down to right here, and this is gonna be the stuff that I'll answer in this video, so it's not too long. We'll see how long it takes. Okay, what if I'm from a different country and my country don't have a I-94? I'm from the Bahamas and I use my passport to get in and out of the United States. Okay, so I-94 is a travel record. Whenever you're entering the United States of America as non-resident, non-citizen, you get that I-94 travel record. Now, it used to be probably about, well, a long time ago, probably like 10 years ago, 5 years ago maybe. It used to be a paper I-94 with the number, and it would say how long you have, how long you can stay in the United States of America. All right, and by which date you have to leave in order to maintain your legal status in the United States of America. Now they do it electronically, apparently. I'm not sure. I didn't have my personal experience with flying in and out United States of America in the recent years as an immigrant. So I don't know, and I wouldn't know because I got my citizenship already in the United States of America. Yes, grateful for that. But to answer your question here, if you're now with the Bahamas, I'm not sure what kind of agreement there is between the United States and the Bahamas. Are they part? Are they considered? Do you need a visa to enter the United States? There are a lot of factors that kind of depend, to answer your question correctly. But if you are not a citizen or resident of the United States and you're entering the United States, most likely you will get that I-94. Even if it's not a paper, you will have it electronically. So in this video, how to get I-94, I am showing the process of retrieving that information online. It's online, everything's done through the website. You enter your name, you enter some other personal identification information, and hopefully your I-94 comes up. I say hopefully because a lot of times it doesn't, because there's a little mistake here and there, and if there is a mistake, it's not gonna come up. So try that. Most likely that information is there and you already do have an I-94 which you don't know of, so try to retrieve it. But again, I might be wrong. There might be some kind of agreement between United States government and the Bahamas, and there is really no I-94 that is given out because you can come in here and stay here as long as you want. Again, I don't know these rules. It really is very specific, so I would try pulling that I-94 online, and if it doesn't come up, then if you don't need visa, then you really don't need to worry about it. Okay, so moving on further. How about family members? Payment only $370. What about plus $85? Okay, that is on I-539, how to extend visa. Okay, so the $370 is the application fee. Whenever it comes to the family members, if you are applying not just for yourself, not just for one person, but for example, a spouse, kids, right? So it's a whole family. You only pay one application fee, $370. That's it. You don't pay it double, triple, however many people are involved in application. However, $85 is the biometrics fee, and the biometrics fee is basically you going, taking the fingerprint, taking the pictures, doing that sort of stuff, right, in the application center. That you do have to pay. So for example, let's say you have 3 people, family, applying for the extension of stay. One payment of $370 and 3 payments of $85. Okay, again, please verify information I'm giving you right now in this video, because from the moment I made this video, things might change and they might say, no, you know what, you don't have to pay this $85 for each member. Verify it, please. I put all the links in the videos in the description below directly to the application on the official USCIS website. All the updated information can be found there. Okay, moving on. If the people I'm supporting are married, do I fill out 1 or 2? And that's for Uniting for Ukraine. Great question. I am pretty sure you will have to fill out 2 applications unless unless in the application that you're filling out, it has a subsection that says additional beneficiary. Okay, so if there is an additional beneficiary and there is a relationship to you and the relationship of that beneficiary to the initial beneficiary on the application, if that makes sense, then you don't need to fill out obviously another application. But again, all the links are in the video, in the description below. Go there, it will take you directly to the Uniting for Ukraine program. It will answer all your questions. But most likely, from what I remember in that application, you do have to fill out each application separately for each individual that you are sponsoring, because after all, it's a sponsorship program. Okay, moving on to the next one. Thank you for all the wonderful information. Well, thank you, Robert. Thank you for watching. My stepdaughter is here helping care for her mom, who has been recovering from serious cancer issue. Her 12-year-old daughter also came with her and has been able to go to a local school here near where we live. Does she need to fill out a separate form for her daughter, or can it be combined in with her I-539? They are from Thailand. Thank you again for sharing this information. Of course, well, thank you for watching, and I wish your mom a speedy recovery. Yes, so whenever it comes to I-539, they actually have two ways of filing it. You can file it online. If you're doing it for one person, you can file it online. If you're doing it for more than one person, like family, for example, with dependents, like in your daughter's case, it will be a different form. It's going to be I-539A, I believe. Let me double check that. So that I don't, why doesn't it open in a separate, okay, it doesn't want to open. Well, you know what, let's just go to the website, because you guys been asking quite a lot of questions about the I-539, so I want to double check that and make sure I give you the updated proper information. So this is all obviously the official USCIS website. I use it in every single video that I do. All the information is from here. And let's see, we got forms. Yes, so here you go. So form I-539A. So you can file online for one person, but if you're doing a family, like in your daughter's case, it's gonna be 539A, and you will have to fill it out by paper, and you will have to mail the paper application. Now in this video, I think I kind of briefly mentioned, but maybe I will, let me know if you guys want to see that. Maybe I'll make a separate video on filling out the I-539A by hand and just explaining that, because it is a little bit of a different process. You're not filing it online, you're filing it by paper, so it's a little bit different. But to answer your question briefly, yes, she can fill out just one application. It will have to be the paper application, I-539A, and it's going to be just one application fee and 2 biometrics fees, because it's for her and it's for her daughter. Okay, moving on, 3 more comments I'll answer in this video, so it's not too long. Let's get into it. So, are they still going to use the old one picture because I was 9 back then? Now I'm 19. Is there no other option on sending them a new picture? Okay, how to renew green card 2022. Okay, no. So whenever it comes to green card applications, you definitely will have to send a new picture for sure. Even if, you know, let me double check, make sure this is not online. So it's I-90, again, USCIS. This is your go-to website. All the information is here. Let me see if I can find I-90. Scrolling down. Nope, keep going. I-905. Where is it? I can't find it for some reason. Well, 90. I-90. Here we go. So application to replace permanent resident card. So naturalization. So you can file it online. Okay. So if you're filing it online, from my experience, they don't ask you to upload the pictures right away as you file online. So if you're filing it online, obviously it might seem like, hey, how do I submit the picture? Don't worry about it. Just file the online application. Whenever they need your picture, they will ask you, and you either will have to mail them or they will take it during the biometrics. I'm not entirely sure how that process works right now, because when I was applying for my green card, it was a long time ago, and back then it was all paper application. So I actually had to send them an actual picture the paper hard copy of my updated picture. So they will definitely request a picture from you, an updated one, especially considering that you were 9 and now you're 19, so 10 years, definitely. It just might not be right away in the online application. It might be later in the physical form. Okay, moving on. My FL 130 case was approved in 2015. Okay, congratulations. Oh, so my I-130 case was approved in 2015. That's for the alien relative. That's if you're applying if you're here in the United States of America and you're a green card holder or you're a US citizen and you are sponsoring your relative, your brother, sister, mother, father, kids to come here, all right? And it was approved in 2018, but US visa bulletin process right now is 2012. How long it will take me to wait again to be processed? Okay, so it's very, very tough to answer questions like this, unfortunately, because there's so many factors that go into this whole idea behind getting the actual visa, all right? It's really good that you were already approved, so that's great. It means all the documents were accepted, that's it. If you were approved in 2015, and I mean it's already 22, so 7 years you've been waiting, kind of takes a little bit long time, so I'm assuming you're not in one of those immediate categories like parents or kids or spouses. You're probably brother, sister, if I'm assuming correctly. That's really the only thing that I can think of that takes that long. I mean, 7 years after approval, that's kind of long. Usually it's about 6 months to a year after approval, and you get the rest of the stuff, you get the rest of the notifications, you go for an interview, you go for a medical exam and all that sort of stuff. Again, it's hard to answer this question because so many factors. Your eligibility category, like which category you are on. Are you a brother, sister? Are you a parent? Which state it was filed in, because again, depending on the state, some might process faster, some might process a little bit longer because there are in a different state, it goes to a different processing center. Okay, so really hard to answer your question. It's been quite some time, so I would recommend, if you're the petitioner, I would recommend reaching out to USCIS, maybe filing a case inquiry. I've done a separate video on how to file a case inquiry. That would be probably helpful. And also, if you are not the petitioner, if you're a beneficiary, ask the petitioner to submit that inquiry for you, because it really has been quite a long time. I mean, 7 years after approval. That's pretty long. Okay, the very last thing, the last comment. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge. It helped me a lot, sincerely. You're very welcome. It's not a question, so I'm going to scroll down to the next one and try to answer that, and it's going to be the last one. Okay, great video. One question. In the part 5, who net a gross annual income are in regard to? The company or the employee? Okay. Part 5, that's I-129, petition for non-immigrant worker. I'm pretty sure it should be annual income for the company, but let's take a look. I-129, let's find out. And might as well have the opportunity to check out the USCIS website a little bit more and how to kind of navigate. Again, there's so many different categories here, but we will open the paper application form, and let's see, part 5. Scroll to part 5, basic information about the proposed employment and employer. Okay, so wages, that's the wages that you will be paying, that the company will be paying towards. In the part 5, net and gross annual income. Well, let's see if we can find. Okay, so here we go. Gross annual income, net annual income. Okay, so current number of employees in the United States. So that's definitely for the company. That is definitely 100% for the company that is filing the petition for the non-immigrant worker. Okay, so hopefully you found some answers in this video. Again, I try to do it every week, so go ahead. If you have any questions, ask them in whichever video, and hopefully I can get to it, because I really do get quite a lot of questions on this, and I try to address them all, but sometimes it's really hard. I appreciate all your support. It really means a lot to me, and you know, I'm grateful to be of assistance for you guys to do everything legally, everything properly, following the process, having respect for the due process, and you know, I'm grateful for the opportunity to give you the information that might be helpful in going through that process. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.